What's going on, viewers? I'm Ray.
I'm Jared.
Welcome to another episode of that Sactownpodcast.
So today, is gonna be a really fun video. We're gonna be doing our unpopular opinions for this NBA season and kind of like a culmination of how many years we've been watching basketball. Been watching basketball. I have been watching basketball for four years. Like actually watching basketball. How about you, Ray?
Yeah, actually, like watching and like looking up stats and like the finals of games and stuff. I would say for like 3 years now, but I've been a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is gonna be just kind of just like our unpopular opinions for our accumulation of 4 years, 3 years watching basketball in this season. So we're aware this is gonna be a pretty a pretty controversial video, but I think it should be a pretty good one, and I'm excited. Me and Ray disagree on probably most of these, but that's the fun part. We get to express our opinions and stuff. So today, so usually me and Ray do shout outs at the end of the video, but I want to do a shout out at the beginning, shake it up. I want to do a shout out to one of my friends, David. He goes to our school. He actually watches the podcast and he like actually like dissects what I'm saying. And every time we're in strength and conditioning class, he always gets on me for my opinions about about my top 10 list. But shout out to him for watching the podcast and shout out to him for giving his opinion. And if you want to start, Ray, go ahead. It's all you.
Yeah, so I'll probably start with the most like uncontroversial one first, and that is that I don't believe that the Knicks will sign two superstars in free agency. Now I know the Knicks have a lot of money, and I know it's New
Time out,
York.
time out, time out. Sorry to you. Sorry to you, but this is pretty important. Before you get onto that, I want you to define your version of superstar because my version is different than yours. So define what you think a superstar is.
Right.
Because just quick thing is, let's say a superstar would be like for me. Let's say the Knicks sign Kemba Walker and Jimmy Butler. That might be two superstars to you, but to me, superstars would be like KD and Kyrie. So, but go on.
A superstar to me is somebody that's like an automatic all-star that you don't have to like argue about that. So like you said, KD, Kyrie. I would say Jimmy Butler's a superstar, but I wouldn't say Kemba's a superstar. I think he's a star in this league, but I don't think he's like a superstar. And so it's someone that is reliable. You know what he brings to the table.
Hold on, poor connection. Wait for it to get back in. Okay, should be good. Okay.
Right.
Okay, good.
A superstar to me is somebody that has been an all-star for at least 6 years, I would say, or either has been an all-star for 6 years or is just like super reliable. You know what he's going to give you. He's scoring 25 plus. He's getting at least 6 rebounds or 6 assists or more, and he's just a game changer. Not saying like Kemba or players like that aren't game changers. I just don't think they're at that high of quality as like a Kevin Durant or like a Giannis or LeBron James. So that's my
Mm-hmm.
definition of. But when I say the Knicks are not going to get two superstars, the main two I'm talking about are Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Although I do think Kevin Durant is going to leave, I don't know if it's going to be to the Knicks. Kevin Durant, he wants to win. He's already winning with the Warriors, but I feel like if he left, it would still be for a team that has a good chance of winning. The the Knicks have a very talented young roster. They don't have a very talented roster overall, but they got a lot of young players with potential. Mitchell Robinson, Frank Ntilikina, kind of. He was a high pick, so he still has that potential. Um, what's this? Alonzo Trier. They had the first, not first, but they had the first pick in the draft. Dennis Smith Jr. I mean, the list it'll go on in a couple more years too. But I don't think Kevin Durant wants to play with a young team like that. I think he wants more mature people, And so I don't know where per se he'll go, but I just don't think it'll be the Knicks. And then with Kyrie, I'm a believer that Kyrie, if he leaves, which I'm not saying he will, but if he does, he's going to go to the Lakers. That's my judgment. That's my belief, man. I think that's my belief. I think that even though he's had his problems with LeBron in the past, I think that he misses him. As weird as that sounds, but I think that he misses him, and that he would love to play in a place like LA and be talented with the roster that they have.
I totally agree with you. I don't think they're getting KD or Kyrie, but my definition of a superstar is different. To me, a superstar, for one, is impacts the game in an elite way more than just one way. You can't be an elite scorer and do nothing else. You know, they have to pass well, rebound, defense, shoot. At least do something at an elite level in two ways. Second is they have to be an elite playoff performer. Can't be a superstar and choke in the playoffs. And third, you have to be able to lead your own team to a substantial amount of wins. I'm not saying you have to win the championship. A good example would be Iverson. Iverson's a superstar, was a superstar, but no one, he obviously didn't win a championship, but he led his team to the finals actually, when they played the Lakers, and they beat Kobe-led Lakers. They beat him one game, then they got their ass blasted. But so yeah, no, I disagree with you about Kyrie. I don't think Kyrie is going to play with LeBron. I think Kyrie is too big of oh, hey, LeBron, I apologize, bro. I need you. I think Kyrie is kind of like, well, I want to lead my own team. Personally, he should stay in Boston. Boston's got a nice thing going on. If they can figure out that chemistry and they can maybe, trade Hayward, something. If they figure out that chemistry, it's a wrap because they are talented. I think KD's either going to stay with the Warriors or probably go to somewhere like the Clippers. It wouldn't be bad. The Clippers or Brooklyn would be a nice place. I would love to see him in Brooklyn, but obviously I'm a Warriors fan. I would love to keep KD. But yeah, no, you're not going to get – I totally agree with you. It's kind of funny. Knowing the Knicks, what they'll do is they'll end up signing two – they'll get Kemba maybe. They'll get Jimmy Butler, or they'll get somebody like that. But the Knicks will never win a championship with Kemba and Jimmy Butler as their core. So that would be the classic Knicks mistake of signing two max contract players and then just blowing out. Oh, wow, I'm so surprised. It's the fucking Knicks. But, yeah, no, I totally agree. But with my next topic, and this one's going to piss a lot of people off, and I'm going to get a lot of crap for this, but Russell Westbrook is an overrated player. He is overrated. I don't think he's a superstar. He won MVP. I understand that. You can win MVP and still, he had a great season. That was an awesome season. But I think him as a player and the totality of his career, he has not been the player that I think he should be. So let's go over my criteria for a superstar, right? Okay. Westbrook impacts the floor in an elite way in more than just one way. All right, let's see about that. Is he a great shooter? No. Is he an efficient scorer? No. Is he a great defender? He's a good defender. He's not an elite defender. He's not Klay Thompson. He's not Patrick Beverley. He's not Drew Holiday. So is he an elite rebounder? Yeah, he is. For his position, he's a great rebounder. Okay. Is he an elite passer? I actually don't think he is an elite passer. Now the stats will not do me any justice, but if you actually watch the games and you understand how Westbrook plays, his stats are extremely, extremely padded. I have watched plenty. Trust me, I have watched plenty of OKC games where I've seen Westbrook. His teammates will box out just so Westbrook can get the rebound. Now, boxing out is a great fundamental in basketball, but not when you're doing it just so your guard can get rebounds. That's not, his rebounds are not worked for. He just grabs it. His passing, he's a very good passer. He's not an elite passer. Chris Paul is a better passer to me. Ben Simmons to me is a better passer. Jokic is a great passer. Jokic is an elite passer, and he's a center.
Giannis is too.
Giannis, great passer. LeBron, still a great passer. Westbrook to me is a really good passer. He is not an elite passer to me. So what else is there? I mean, the only thing that I can really give you about him being an elite player is I'll give him an elite scorer, but he's still not a top tier scorer. I wouldn't put him on KD's level, not even close. He's not on Steph's level. He's not on Giannis's level. He's not on Harden's level. I had a couple stats for you here. All right. Now I'm not. Stats don't tell the whole story, but so this was his season. All right. This is. I'm going to point out the important stats that matter to me. 22.9 points per game. Now is that an elite scoring season?
23 points is good.
To me,
Not
no. To me, no. 4.5 turnovers. Is that an elite stat? No. 46 effective field goal percentage. Is that an elite stat? Effective field goal percentage is the overall percent of shots that you take. Is that, hey, is this person an effective scorer? Is that a great stat? Oh, did you see Steph Curry's is 0.624? No, okay. His PER for his career less than Steph's, and the reason why I'm comparing him to Steph is because Steph is the best point guard in the league, and Steph is you compare every point guard to Steph, right? For the careers. Well, Steph Curry's got a higher PER, he's got a higher effective field goal percentage. Westbrook's usage rating is significantly higher than Steph's. Westbrook has 96.9 win shares. Curry has 102.9. He's a better 3-point shooter percentage. He's a better scorer. He's a better leader. Passing, okay, I'll give it to Westbrook. Curry has better handles. I think the only game that Russ has that's better than Steph is just passing, and he's more athletic. Percentage, he's so inefficient. So I already squashed that argument. Is he a great player in the playoffs? No, he chokes. He just lost to the Trailblazers, led by Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. He had a good game. He had 24, 10, and 10 or something like that. It's fine. He didn't shoot great. But last year, what happened? They lost to the Jazz, a young Jazz team with the best player was Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert when they had Paul George. So he's not a great playoff performer. He doesn't affect the game in more than two ways at an elite level. Now the last one I had was can he carry his team? That's the only one that I will give you the fairest argument. But let me say this now, okay? The best player on this team this year has been Paul George. Would you argue against that? Until he got hurt. Nope, you wouldn't argue against that. Okay. The year before that, he had Paul George. Paul George played better than Westbrook, I would argue. Then the season that he won MVP, that was all Westbrook. He proved to me that he could lead a team into the playoffs. That was 1 year. When he had KD, who was the best player on that team? KD. For every single year. When Westbrook got hurt, who was MVP of the league? KD. KD led the Thunder to the playoffs. So it's just, to me, he's not efficient. He doesn't do a lot of elite things, although the triple doubles are very misleading. Westbrook pad stats, and if you actually check, his triple doubles don't lead to wins. When Westbrook is at his best is when he's deferring to Paul George. That's when he's at his best. And I argue that this season is already proving to me that Westbrook is not the player that people think he is.
I can't really argue against you. I like Westbrook. I like him as a player, but I think everything you said is on the dot. I think the rebounds are kind of like inflated. You know, the centers, like you said, they box out other centers or other big players so he could get the rebound. His assists, they're all like 1 second left in the shot clock. Let me pass it to my shooting guard. Let me pass it to Paul George. Get the assists. Scoring, he's a tenacious scorer in the paint. You know, he'll dunk, he'll do the layups, but I don't think he has a good 3-point shot. And I think his mid range is subpar. So although I think his dominance is the only reason why I would call him a superstar, but I can't argue at the fact that Russell Westbrook is overrated.
Let me make this very clear before I think this. I don't hate Westbrook as a person. I respect Westbrook. He's a real guy. He'll put it to you 100. Like his 20 game for Nipsey Hussle, that was freaking awesome, dude. I that was my most respect for him I had in a long time. But I respect him as a person. Although when he does give interviews, it kind of bothers me because he does not like to answer hard questions. He says next question after every question that he doesn't like. That's a little immature. But like I said, he's not the player people think he is. The fact that anybody could compare him to Steph Curry is laughable because there are people who will compare him to Steph Curry. And I will also argue, and I was arguing with David about this, Damian Lillard this year is the second best point guard in basketball. I'm not flinching either. Think about it. Better record, Trailblazers. More efficient, Damian Lillard. Less help, Damian Lillard. Same conference. So,
But I think Damian Lillard is very good. But I mean, if I had to say who the second best point guard in the league is, I'd probably give it to Kyrie.
Yeah, see, that's where we part ways. But I want you to get to your next topic, if you don't mind.
My next one is that the Sixers, they will not make the conference finals this year. I think the Sixers have, other than the Warriors, they have the best roster on paper. Now, I don't know how that translates to the court. I don't like Joel Embiid. Notification. But here, let me.
Don't like Joel Embiid, huh? Wow.
I don't like Joel Embiid that much. I think he's a poor sport. I think that he's a baby too. I mean, look, he just is a baby. He flops so much. I've never seen a center flop as much as him. Like literally.
Clearly, you've never watched LeBron James or James Harden play, but
I said center though. I didn't say guard. He's a big man throwing himself on the floor. Only other person I've ever seen do that is Anderson Varejao. I mean, look at this guy purposely.
audio. It
The
sounds
better.
muffled. There you go. Yeah.
So this guy, for an example, today against the Nets, he elbowed Jarrett Allen in the face, and it was obvious that it was on purpose. Bring it back to when they played the Celtics. He threw the ball at Marcus Smart, and then when Marcus Smart barely pushed him on the back, he flops like he hurt him. Like, come on, dude, you're a baby. You're not. And his tweets aren't even that funny. I'm sorry. I think Joel Embiid's I think he's dominant, and if I think he was just more mature on the court, I would probably say he's my favorite center in the league. But he's just an immature player on the court. I don't think people really like him. So I don't know. But I do think he's a good player. I do think.
What about Boogie?
Boogie's not a baby. Boogie's not a baby.
Boogie is a baby. Boogie is a baby.
I think if I don't know. I disagree with you on that. But let me.
I've watched. Go on.
Continue.
Go ahead.
I do think he can lead them far in the playoffs, but I don't know. I don't know something about their chemistry or what it is. I'll talk about Ben Simmons later, but Butler is a great player. He's a great scorer. He's a great defender. Joel Embiid is a great scorer. He's great in the paint. He's great at blocking shots. And then they also have Tobias Harris, who's a reliable scorer. But they have JJ Redick, who's probably one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. But I don't see them making it past the hump. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's a gut feeling, and that's my unpopular opinion. If Ben Simmons could shoot a little better and Tobias could offer more in the playoffs, they could, but I'm going to stick with my opinion for now.
To be honest, I don't think that's unpopular. I don't know a lot of people that have the Sixers going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I do, but nobody else does. Everybody has the Raptors and Bucks going. But your knocks against Joel Embiid, that's your opinion. I'm not gonna debate that. I don't think the Sixers' struggles are because of Joel Embiid. Far from it. The Sixers' struggles are. Huh?
I didn't say they were.
Okay.
I just want to clarify.
One, Brett Brown needs to be a better job at getting the team to be a cohesive unit. Golden State has 5 All-Stars, and they're managing that together. But 2, Ben Simmons' jump shot is holding them back. So, but let's not pretend like Joel Embiid isn't the best center in basketball, because he's the best center in basketball. Second, when healthy, Boogie Cousins, Jokic, Gobert's up there too. Don't sleep on Gobert. Cat, no, he's not up there. But anyways, I'm not gonna argue. If you don't think Joel Embiid's funny, that's you. I think he's fucking hilarious. But yeah, no, I mean that's, the Bucks are legit. The Raptors so far have not been legit. They lost to the Magic. But assuming Kyle Lowry doesn't score 0 points, they'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue that was pretty pretty there, but we disagree about Joel. He's actually pretty mature. I just don't like the flopping, pisses me off because he's huge, but at the same time, you have to give crap to Harden, have to give crap to LeBron, give crap to sometimes Draymond. If you're gonna give crap to Joel Embiid, give crap to people who actually flop more than Joel Embiid. But excuse me. So my next topic is the point guard GOAT debate. So I'm making the case for Steph Curry being number 1. Now, let me just say this just to clarify, because I know people are going to get on me. I'm not saying he's better than Magic Johnson. I'm saying this is his case to be the greatest point guard of all time. So right now, just for the record, to make it stated, Magic is the greatest point guard of all time. Okay. Now that that's out of the way, let me make Steph's case. All right. For one, Steph changed the game. Steph changed the game. Magic didn't change the game. Magic made the game popular again, because if you remember, before Bird and Magic came into the league was so freaking boring. There was fights all the time. The ratings were down, so they made the game popular again. But did they change the game like Steph did? No. The only player to ever affect the game like Steph did, man, I can't think. Michael Jordan, maybe? But MJ didn't necessarily change the game. He just dominated the game. Steph changed basketball. He made people who can't shoot basically liabilities. Let's see, let me think of one guy that can't. So your knock on Ben Simmons is my knock on Ben Simmons is that he can't shoot, correct?
Mm-hmm.
If you dropped Ben Simmons in the era with Michael Jordan, Ben Simmons would be a beast, better than he is now, because shooting wouldn't be that prevalent. So Steph has the greatest impact on the game since Michael Jordan, or maybe oh man, I can't think. I'm blank right now. But so number 1 is his impact. Number 2 is Steph Curry is a better scorer than Magic. Magic was a great passer, a pretty good defender. He could get to the bucket or get to the paint and score, but he was never an elite scorer like that. Mm-hmm. I think Bird was a better scorer than Magic. Steph's a better shooter. He can get to the rim better, and he's smaller than Magic. So let's keep that in mind. He's more efficient. He's definitely more efficient from the 3-point line. He's got better ball handling. Not a better passer, better ball handling. They're not the same thing. He to me is, when you think of Steph, okay, think about who Magic had as teammates, right? You had Kareem, you had Worthy, you had Scott. What?
None.
Okay, Magic played with great teammates, right? So does Steph. Steph played with KD, but I made an argument. I think Steph is a better player and more valuable to the Warriors. Played with Clay and Draymond. All right. So, but let's just say for just hindsight, Magic played with better teams. He played with the Showtime. He played at the end when Kareem was still a baller. Kareem was still balling late. Kareem was still balling when he was late. Let's not forget. All right. So, so Magic and Curry played with similar teammates, but I'll give the edge to Steph because Steph has played with less talent than Magic to me. So then we got the impact, we got the scoring. The third is accolades. So Magic has more MVPs, more championships, more All NBA selections. But the way Steph is playing right now, he will have at least. Do you want to say 5 rings for Steph?
Yeah.
2 more rings. All right, that's 5 rings. That ties him with Magic, right? Magic has more Finals MVPs. So let's just say that Steph will win 2 Finals MVPs, 1 or 2. That would give him with 5 rings, with 1 Finals MVP. Not as much as Magic, but you also take into the fact that Steph will probably have more first-team All-NBA selections. Steph will probably have more All-Stars. Steph is a 6-time All-Star, I believe? Something like that. So the accolades will be up there with Magic. The scoring is past Magic. The impact is past Magic. And the thing that with Steph for me is that he makes his teammates better just as well as Magic did. It's not by passing, it's by his sheer jump shot. Like, I'll be watching Warriors games when Steph pulls up the half court. Literally, 2 guys pick him up. That leaves Clay wide open. That's crazy. And so, if things fall in place for Curry, he can have a real argument to be the greatest point guard of all time if he keeps going at this pace. And did I mention that he's the greatest shooter of all time? Just saying. By the way, I'm not trying to ride Steph dick or anything. I acknowledge that Magic is the greatest player of all time.
I'm going to have to argue a little bit with you. So,
audio.
Better now?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to have to argue with you a little bit, Jared. Now, I'm not going to knock on Steph Curry. I think he's amazing. I think he's one of the best point guards of all time. But here's a couple reasons why I don't think that Steph Curry will overthrow Magic. One is I don't think that Magic played with a better team. Now, I'm not going to make an argument because they both played with, the best teams of all time. The Warriors, I think, are the greatest, but right after them is that Lakers team. So I'm not going to really argue on that a little bit.
One more quick thing. I'm sorry. Let me give you one more quick thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It is really unfair to take away what players do because they play on great teams. So let's just not take away anything from Magic and not take anything away from Steph because they play on great teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I think the big reason why I don't have Steph as number 1 of all time is because of how long it took him to develop. Like Magic, you could make the argument is he was so good is because right when he came out of the league, he had a great team. But if you look at Steph, it took him 5 years to finally make an all-star team. It took him 5 years to really become that player that we all know of. Now 5 years, he's gonna get back with his play style because he's a shooter. I guarantee he'll play until he's almost 40. His body doesn't have a lot of wear and tear like small forward or center would have. So I do think he'll get that time back. But my only knock on Steph Curry is that the fact that it took him so long to develop in the league, other than Magic. But your arguments are very strong for him. Curry in the game better than anybody else. He's the greatest shooter of all time, and he's ultimately the best player on the best team of all time. So really hard to argue against you, but that'd be my
own. Let's just clear up what you just said about the first 5 years, all right? Steph's rookie season was pretty great. He averaged around 17, 18 points per game. You realize that Steph was injured for the majority of his baby career. He was injured. That's why he wasn't who he was. He had ankle injuries from his second year to when Steph became good? 2014? About 2014. He was injured all those years before he became good. So you never know what he could have done if he was healthy. But, we can't go back in time. We can't prove it. So I think we should just move on. Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on.
So it's all you, right?
For my last argument, this one's probably my most controversial one, and that is that I think Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum, out of all the young players in the league, are the most overrated. Now, I do think they're great players. Don't get me wrong. I think Ben Simmons is a great player and could be a superstar. But I'll give you my opinion on why I think both are a little overrated. So Ben Simmons, let me pull up his stats. He gets 16.9 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, and 7.7 assists. Those are amazing. They're almost triple doubles. That's almost a triple double. But I just that lack of a jump shot it won't take him far in the playoffs, and ultimately it's gonna make him. It's gonna decrease his chance of ever being a top player of all time. He needs to get that jump shot. And I think not having that jump shot is just holding back his whole team. And I don't think he works hard enough. I don't think he's a very hard worker. There's I forget who said it, but someone said that he needs to focus more on his jump shot than his girlfriend. I think he's dating a Kardashian, right?
I don't know.
Or Jenner. I think he's dating Kendall Jenner.
Hey, Ben Simmons is pulling someone because Ben Simmons is fly. I've seen his cars. I've seen his oof.
I mean, he's a cool dude. I think he needs to he just needs to work on the jump shot. He needs to stop worrying about anything else and just hit the gym and shoot those jump shots. I've heard a lot of other NBA stars say the same thing. But that's my only knock on Ben Simmons. I think he could be a really good player. He just needs to get that jump shot. And then Jason Tatum. Now, here's Jason Tatum's stat line. He has 15.7 points, 6 rebounds, 2.1 assists with 31 minutes per game. Now, a lot of people want to use the argument that the Celtics just have scores all around, and that's why he doesn't score a lot. But I have to disagree. Other than Kyrie, name another really valuable scorer on the Celtics. Al Horford is more defense, but he does have an offensive game. Terry Rozier is a backup. He's not getting nearly enough minutes to be called an offensive player on that team. Marcus Smart is defense. Aaron Baines is defense. Gordon Hayward comes up the bench.
People don't argue that the Celtics have elite scorers. They argue that they have a bunch of good scorers, and that's why Tatum doesn't get his shots up. But that's not me. So.
But I don't know. I think he should be averaging more points even with that Celtics team. If he's such an offensive mastermind like he is, if his offensive game is so polished like it is, he should be getting 25 points. He's only gotten 20 points in a game, I think twice. Something absurd like that. I think he's a great player, and who knows, maybe if he leaves, gets traded, and he just tears it up, then my argument will be trash. But I think he's a little overrated. I think what he did in the playoffs just makes everybody so ooh, Jason Tatum is so good. But in the end, I don't think that he is even a top 50 player in the league. But
better than Lonzo. Better than Lonzo.
You can make an argument, yeah.
I don't give a shit about Jason Tatum, but I want to talk to you about Ben Simmons. He is not overrated. He's rated the right amount. I'm not gonna give you. Ben Simmons can't shoot. He couldn't hit. He couldn't hit it even if the basket was this big. And he can't shoot. But he's not overrated. You're taking that one aspect of his game and you're shoving it above everything else. He's a great passer. He's a great rebounder. Great defender. Can get to the hole. Makes his teammates better. And I actually think he's a really hard worker. I've heard many stories about Ben Simmons and his hard work. You can't be that good already and not be a hard worker. It doesn't come like that, just naturally. Some players are talented. Ben Simmons is talented, but he's a hard worker. There are players who don't have jump shots and still make an impact. Now, that doesn't mean he will never be the best player in the league until he gets a jump shot. But let's just think of guys who don't have jump shots that still make an impact, okay? You got Rudy Gobert. He makes an impact. LeBron James, before he became a decent shooter, LeBron never had a jump shot. Never had a jump shot. You got guys like Clint Capella can't shoot, but still makes an impact. Draymond can't shoot, still makes an impact. This year he's been a piss poor shooter. So,
There's a difference. All these guys you said, okay. Well, Rudy Gobert, he's the center. You don't expect him to shoot. But all these other guys that you said, they've at least hit a three in their career. Will Ben Simmons ever even hit a three at this point? Like
that's absurd. He will hit a three.
If they're gonna play him like a guard, he better be able to shoot like a guard.
Yeah. I don't have much to say on this one, but
I'm not hating on Ben Simmons. I really like him. He's a cool player. I think he's a product of how tall he is and how he plays.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Giannis Antetokounmpo then, because does Giannis have an elite jump shot? No. Now his is better. No. Let's not. Don't take what I'm saying and just throw it away. Giannis is a way better player than Ben Simmons, but let's not act like Giannis isn't good because he's athletic, right? He scores his points in the paint because he's strong, he's got good basketball IQ, and he's fast, and his wingspan is like my whole fucking room. But let's not act like he doesn't rely on athleticism, okay? Russell Westbrook relies on athleticism, okay? So Giannis can't shoot. Giannis does other things on elite. Giannis is a great passer, great rebounder. Ben Simmons is basically a small Giannis. If he gets a jump shot, if he gets like a Paul George-ish type jump shot, he will be better than Giannis. Seriously.
No.
Because Giannis can't shoot. Giannis can't shoot.
Giannis can shoot. If you look, shooting got way better by the end. Giannis is a harder worker. He's more dominant. He's a better passer. Ben Simmons might get more assists, but I think Giannis's passes are way more flashy. He's a better rebounder.
Who? Okay.
And better scorer.
Okay.
Ben Simmons will never be as good of a scorer as Giannis is.
Okay. You just said he's a better passer because he's more flashy. That's right. Stop. Okay, look. All right. You give me Giannis Antetokounmpo, okay? Great scorer in the paint, great rebounder, great passer, great defender. You give me Ben Simmons with a jump shot. Again, better shooter, great rebounder, great passer, great defender. I'll take Ben Simmons all day. Giannis relies on his athleticism to get his points, and his rebounds come from his athleticism, just like Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a baby Giannis. Seriously.
But let's not act like this is imaginary. Ben Simmons is nowhere near as hard of a worker as Giannis. So if anything, no, I do know that. If anything, Giannis will get a better shot before Ben Simmons ever will. I'm just being. If you talk to any NBA player, they all say that Giannis is the hardest worker they know. You ask Kobe. Giannis got the chance to talk to Kobe. I think I've already mentioned this, and he talked to Kobe about basketball, defensively, and the IQ of basketball for 4 hours. Giannis, look, he gained 40 pounds of muscle in 2 years.
Right. You're missing the point. I'm not saying that Giannis isn't a harder worker than Ben Simmons. He is, but you don't know. You can't go into Ben Simmons' brain and say, "Oh, he's not a hard worker." You don't. For all we know, next year, you know what? How about this? What if next year Ben Simmons gets a jump shot? Will you think he's a harder worker than Giannis?
No, because it's not going to happen.
Well, see, here's the thing, is that you can't measure how hard a guy works. You don't know what he goes through. You don't know what he does. For all we know, Ben Simmons, are you going to say that Markelle Fultz isn't a hardworking player because he can't shoot? That's ridiculous.
Markelle Fultz hasn't proven anything in the NBA. I think we could easily agree he's not a hard worker.
You don't know that. You don't know the guy. unless you speak to somebody about you don't know how hard somebody works. They may not show it. Players get hurt, things happen. But I have a topic to get to. Because I don't know if it's being too long. Okay. So if you don't mind.
Let's hear it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I was gonna talk about Kawhi and how I don't believe in Kawhi as a personality, but I don't want to bash on Kawhi. I want to talk about the all rings aren't created equal argument. Okay, so I was talking to David a couple of weeks ago about Dirk versus KD, right? Okay. Dirk's not as talented as KD. I don't think he's even a better player than KD. But I brought up something that was very important. I said, are KD's 2 rings more impressive than Dirk's 1 ring?
Nope.
No. And, that's the thing, is that all rings aren't created equal. And the proof of the pudding is, let's take a look at Bill Russell, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this. Is Bill Russell a top 5 player of all time? Is he a top 5 talent of all time? Okay. Does he have the most rings in NBA history? Is he better than Michael Jordan? Okay. He has 11 rings. Jordan has 6. So the argument comes in is Jordan's rings were more valuable than Bill Russell's rings because Jordan played stiffer competition. Jordan was a better player. And the modern day makes it almost impossible to win 11 rings, okay? Now, you take a look at Dirk's ring. Dirk won 1 ring, okay? KD had to join the Warriors to beat LeBron in order to get his 2 rings.
Yeah.
Dirk beat LeBron in the finals with a weaker team while winning finals MVP on LeBron's team. Yeah. So I don't like it when people compare rings. Rings, to me, is one of the last things I compare. Because if you take a look at a player's rings, let's take a look at, let's see, you know what? I'm trying to think of another comparison. Okay, you got Allen Iverson, all right? 0 rings, okay? Take a look at somebody else. Let's see. James Worthy I think he has like 5 rings. Is he better than Iverson? Hell no.
Robert Horry?
Horry, yeah, you got Robert Horry. So it's like the point of my argument is that people should stop comparing players by rings unless you use context. Because the reason why I put Dirk in my top 10 was because Dirk had to earn his 1 ring versus KD earning his 2 rings. KD is a great player. He's better than Dirk in many ways. But he had to join a super team to beat LeBron. As sad as it is to say, because I hate LeBron, he couldn't beat LeBron. So he had to join a team to beat LeBron. So when you're talking about rings, I want everybody to think of the context behind the ring, what the player had to do before you start comparing. Because Bill Russell is not on Kareem's level. He's not on LeBron's level. He's not on Jordan's level. He's not even on Kobe's level. So,
not on Williams' level either.
Yeah. What?
What?
What did you say?
I said he's not on Lou Williams' level either. So.
Lou Williams. God. So, yeah, it's just like, if you're going to compare players, just make sure that you know what you're talking about when it comes to rings. Because rings are super complicated. They can mean, they can mean a lot or they can mean a little. So,
Can you argue that Dirk's ring is the most impressive ring of all time?
I would put Dwayne Wade's ring up there too.
But like I saw earlier, Dwayne Wade had Shaq when he won that ring.
Now,
it wasn't in his prime, but it's still
Shaq. It was Bum Shaq.
Who did Dirk?
You know what? I could give you that one. What about LeBron's ring against the Warriors? The 3-1?
LeBron had Kyrie and Kevin Love, and Kyrie kind of, I'm not going to say he carried LeBron, but he did put him on his back when it came to crunch time. Dirk literally had nobody in that whole series to help him, really. It was all Dirk.
Okay. Now here's the thing, is that let's take a look at the storyline for that season. The Warriors were seen as an unbeaten team, right? They stormed to the playoffs. except for when they got the Thunder. They were down 3-1, came back, beat Russell Westbrook, choker. Excuse me, sorry. So down 3-1. LeBron literally put the team on his back. Kyrie scored, but didn't do anything else. Okay, so Dirk's ring probably is the greatest ring of all time. But you got to include D Wade's ring. Got to include LeBron's coming down for 3-1 in the finals, averaging a triple double. You could also argue
Kobe's ring when he had Paul Gasol.
Kobe's ring. You could argue Kobe's ring. You could argue that Elijah Wan's rings when Jordan was out of the league when he beat all the best teams.
Yeah.
Another thing that people don't know, this is a fun fact. Did you guys know that Jerry West is the only player in NBA history to win Finals MVP but not win the championship?
Yeah, I knew that. That's crazy.
That's some dope shit. But yeah, so you could argue that Dirk's ring was the greatest ring of all time.
Yeah.
You could argue that, but is there anything else you want to say? Or
I just want to thank our viewers again, and keep grinding with us.
Hey guys, quick little note before we go. We apologize for the lack of uploads this week. We've been having some technical difficulties with setting the videos back to each other. We also, Ray's been very busy. I've been busy, so we haven't been able to give our effort. But we're going to be back on this grind. Spring break. We're going to have a Wednesday video out. We're going to have this video out tomorrow. And we're going to have some cool-ass videos coming out. Thank you guys for checking out our Instagram. It'll be in the description. We posted our predictions. They're a little late, but not too late. Fuck the Clippers. That's it for me, guys. That's it for me. Ray, you want to close it out? It's all you.
A couple more things is one. Do you guys want to see more MLB talks? I've been getting more and more into MLB as I keep watching and looking it up more. There's a lot more interesting players than there was a couple years ago, and I've been just really getting into it, and I'm excited to talk about it. So if you guys want to see more of that, let me know. And fuck the Warriors. Let's go.
See you guys.